Greenwood, Mississippi. It is the second stop on the Mississippi Health Project, Part 2, Visit 2. I'm the great niece of Dr. Dorothy Bolding Ferebee, the first medical director for the Mississippi Health Project, Alpha Kappa Alpha, back in 1935 through 1942, where we came down to the Mississippi Delta to provide services to those who were working as sharecroppers. We are back again for another public health, and I'll let Dr. Chapman talk about another public health crisis, the COVID-19 crisis, and mammograms. Today is Breast Cancer Awareness Day, but we are here because Lexington, where I met Dr. Chapman, Lexington was the first place in 1935 that Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority was able to go, but the sharecroppers were unwilling, really. So we had to badger our way in there. And as we say, we service all mankind. We were able to do that. I'd like to introduce now Dr. Chapman, who's going to talk a little bit about the Arsenio Mallory Center. And I just want to let you know, my aunt, Dr. Dorothy Ferebee, back in the 1930s, talked to Dr. Mallory about housing sorors, housing Alpha Kappa Alpha women in homes because they couldn't stay elsewhere. But Dr. Chapman is here to talk a little bit about what the center does.
Hi, I'm Dr. Roselle Chapman for the Arena C. Mallory Community Health Center. Well, I service function as a CEO there. We go around to the Mississippi Delta to be able to try to provide preventive health care for all the people of Holmes County, LaFleur County, here where Greenwood is located today. It is an honor for me to be out here today with AKA, as we have the mammogram unit here. It's been about 85 years since it was last here in the Mississippi Delta, but we're out here still fighting the fight, pressing for preventative health, trying to get people out here to get invested in their health and get them invested and protect their loved ones as well. We've been out here today. We tested over 50 people, giving free mammograms today. We're out here offering COVID vaccines and flu vaccines. The Mallory Center, we offer all those COVID testing, access to referrals for mammograms and all that in the Mississippi Delta region.
Janice, we got it all in.
Yeah, it's great.
and I know you spent, welcome to WIN TV. And
Thank
I'm
you so much.
Really, really grateful that you shared the fact that you were there. You touched in just about every day while you were in Mississippi. Tell us about this. I know that you were appointed by Dr. Glenda Glover, president of the Tennessee State University and international president of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, to join this project. So tell us about the project and why you thought it was so important to participate.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Denise, for having me on this show and for all the work that you do in the community. This project is so very important because it was historic back in 1930s and 40s, and it was considered the first mobile health unit in the country, and the finest that Dr. Thomas Perrin, then what you might consider the Surgeon General of the time, considered this one of the finest, or the finest mobile health unit he had ever seen. But the importance of the project, Dr. Glenda Glover had the vision to revisit, kind of resurrect the Mississippi Health Project, because unfortunately, 85 years later, we still have health disparities. And breast cancer is a major issue. There's still a disparity between white women and Black women. There are tumors that are more advanced when they are diagnosed. But this particular project, we were able to bring our mobile mammography unit with us, which has been traveling around the country to help serve the underinsured and uninsured women and others in the community. So this was a really special project, working on our goal, for Alpha Kappa Alpha's goal, is to reach over 100,000 women by 2022. So just excited that this, our Target 2, which is part of our women's healthcare and wellness program for the sorority, we were able to make great strides in the Mississippi Delta.
You know, I just glad that we were able to get you in because, you know, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I know this is a very serious topic for you. And if you could just share, if you don't mind, you know, a little bit about, you know, your journey.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Well, I'm a fallopian tube cancer survivor, two-time fallopian tube cancer survivor, which is the rarest of gynecologic cancers. But I've had 4 breast cysts removed over the years, all benign, in the 90s. And I just had a scare this past October when I did my mammogram. My gynecologist called me back to say, we need you to come back in because we've noticed some dense tissue. Went back in, and because I have 2 sisters who died of lung cancer, and I've had the opportunity to go through my own routine and creative visualization just to pray and to know that if it was my time, then I was, asking God to help me. It happened not to be, so I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, so cancer, fallopian tube cancer, lung cancer, but breast cancer is so very prevalent in the Black community, and it's really important. Early detection and education, so important.
When we talk about breast cancer for women as well as prostate cancer for men, we know that those are 2 cancers that, well, I'm not sure how preventable they are, they say, but they don't necessarily have to lead to death. And like you said, it's the testing that's most important. And we've got places like where we are over here in Washington, D.C., east of the Anacostia River in Ward 8, where there's a high prevalence of both. And also Mississippi, which we know the health of particularly Black Mississippians in the Delta part of Mississippi have enormous health, I guess, poor conditions of health. And
Right.
so, tell us what you observed while you were there, and, what made some women say, yes, I want to do this, and others, just like you said, seem to be somewhat reluctant.
Yeah, well, thank you for that question, because the Mississippi Delta 85 years ago was poverty stricken. Today, 85 years later, unfortunately, it still has one of the highest poverty rates in the country. What I was observing when I was there was the ability for our mobile mammography unit to hit all of the places that we did visit: Greenwood, Greenville, Cleveland, Indianola, Mount Bayou, which happens to be the largest and oldest Black town in the country, founded in 1887 by former enslaved individuals. We were able to partner with the Delta Health Center, Mallory Community Health, Walgreens, and bring community together, being able to, and the AKA chapters all over the country. But when we were there in the Mississippi Delta, they were just outstanding. They were able to promote and market the fact that we were going to be in these particular cities all day long for these 3 days, and that these other partners were going to be there afterwards in order for them to be able to get services, not just breast cancer, not just mammograms, but as Dr. Chapman said, COVID-19. But it was so important for the sorority to be in the community, to be able to let people know that these services are available, because that is one of the major issues, that Black communities, Black families, Black women do not go get their mammograms because of the lack of services in their community.
Interesting, because access is a big issue. And I think in some places, that's been addressed, but you don't think about places like the Mississippi Delta, some of the Greenwood and other places where access is not there. And so consequently, the health disparities continue. With regards to the AKAs, how is it that you all decided to, it makes sense, but decided to pick this topic as one that you wanted to become crusaders for?
Well, as I mentioned, it's a key focus. Our breast cancer initiative is under the sorority's Target 2, women's healthcare and wellness, and having the mobile mammography unit was another brainchild of Dr. Glenda Glover, just such a visionary, having it travel around the country so that, especially where individuals did not have access, we were able to serve underserved, underinsured, uninsured women, making sure that they were able to get that very important mammogram. So it's just a major, major issue that the sorority wanted to tackle.
Well, one of the things I can say, I mean, you know, Dr. Glover used to be here in the DC area. She is one of the most renowned presidents of an HBCU in the country. We're very, very proud of her. And now, you know,
Absolutely.
being her position with the AKAs, she is a force. And, you know, we're just so glad to be able to have been able to share this information with our viewers. Before we close out, I mean, is there a closing word that you would like to share with our viewers as it relates? And it's almost like COVID, you know, remember to wear your mask, remember to get vaccinated, all those other things. But what would you say as we close out Breast Cancer Awareness Month to viewers about the importance of
Well, I would piggyback Dr. Glenda Glover, you know, her visionary idea for this mobile mammography unit for the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, early detection, education. Early detection, education, so very important. And then the other thing I would just say to everyone out there is to speak life to our females, all females, black, white, red, yellow, and brown, for they become what you tell them. So make sure that you give them information and that you are able to guide them so that they can have better health.
Janice Ferebee, thank you so very much for joining us. We're going to keep you in our prayers. And know that the door is always open for some of those inspiring, motivational words that you often share. So we hope to talk to you soon again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on the show.
My pleasure. My pleasure.